Welcome, everyone. You have now entered the cosmic radio receptors of Cascadia 100.7 FM, located just a few miles north of the California border in lovely, sunny, coastal, warm Brookings, Oregon. Thank you for tuning into this week's interesting program. I'm Dr. Gigi, and my co-host is, as always, Jacques Kepner. How are you today, Jacques?
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Doc and Jacques Radio Variety Show with new toys in our hands, kazoos, and special thanks to Ray Simon, who's going to be sitting in the studio today. But Tony Stoddard is manning the flight deck of the enterprising starship of KCIW. Thanks to legendary KCIW founder and finishing sound engineer who, amongst so many other things, puts this whole show out for production and syndication, Tom Bozak. And thanks, Linda Bozak, for listening. You're hearing this live syndicated show right now in KCIW in Brookings, Oregon. And that said, the same syndicated show will be playing in our lovely little area south of here in the Eureka Arcata area next Wednesday at 8 a.m. So tune in to KZZH 96.7 FM, and at noon, it will be played again on KFUG 101.1 FM in coastal Crescent City, California. So now you know, Dr. Gigi and I have your coasts covered.
Hey, Friday, July 24th.
What's happening?
At 2 p.m. at Crissy Field Visitor Center. There will be a free lecture given by our friend John Zimmerman and
John.
Richard Hoff, who are board members on the St. George Reef Lighthouse Preservation Society. That is all one name. They will talk about the Cape Blanco, St. George, and Battery Point lighthouses.
And that's always fun, and they'll have posters and great things they hand out to everybody. So please, if you've got time next Friday, a week from, that's this coming Friday.
Yeah, it's this Friday.
Yeah, this coming Friday at 2 p.m. at Crissy Field Visitor Center, right down by the bug station at the California-Oregon border. Okay. It's that time when good medicine and health tips are colorfully presented by my German-American multi-patent holding medical doctor. She's also a scientist, university professor, syndicated broadcaster, newspaper columnist, and did I mention artist? And I didn't mention artist and so many things other things. Dr. Gudrun or Gigi Reed, MD. What do you got for us today on Medical Marvels?
Today, I'm going to talk about STEMI and non-STEMI.
Wait a minute. STEMI? Are those initials, an acronym?
Yes. Let me explain.
Okay.
My 30 seconds. Most people use the phrase heart attack as though it means one thing, but we divide it into two main types, STEMI and NSTEMI.
Okay, so you mean doctors.
Yeah, people in the inn.
In the inn, okay.
Now, both are so-called acute coronary syndromes caused by reduced blood flow to the heart muscle. But they differ in the degree of blockage and urgent treatments. They're both basically heart attacks.
Wow, I did not know that.
STEMI, S-T-E-M-I, is typically caused by a complete coronary artery occlusion after a plaque ruptures and a clot formates.
Okay.
So on EKR, let me explain, Mr.
Occlusion, I just want to know what that word is. Occlusion? What does that mean?
It's like to plug it up.
Okay.
Plug up off an artery.
Okay.
On an EKG, it presents with a so-called ST segment elevation, which then is abbreviated to STEMI. The MI is the cardiac event, is the heart attack. ST segment elevation, myocardial infarction. That's the STEMI.
She's talking big words, folks.
Oh, I'm explaining it.
Okay.
So that indicates it's a large area of the heart muscle that is at risk, or even without oxygen. Because the damage progresses rapidly, a STEMI needs immediate reperfusion or opening up that
Wait a minute.
hole.
Reperfusion.
Opening up the hole.
Okay, where it was that
opening up the
occlusion
plug
before,
up.
now you go in and unplug it
opening
with
up.
a
Yes.
reperfusion.
Yeah, to let it perfuse again. Perfusion
There
is
we
the
go.
blood
I
flow
like
going
it.
to the artery.
From the Greek and the Latin, I'm sure.
So that's usually also called emergency angioplasty, and sometimes it warrants stent placement.
It warrants, okay, stent placement.
Yeah.
And
An NSTEMI is a non-ST elevation myocardial infarction.
okay, I have a joke about,
Yeah.
okay. What do you call a Frenchman who has been attacked by a cat, doctor?
What?
Claude.
It's so fitting.
It is, right? Perfect. Fits in right with heart attack. Hey, but if there's any of you out there that believe in telekinesis, please raise my hand. Okay, what else, Doc? I'm sorry.
An NSTEMI usually involves a partial blockage and or a mismatch between oxygen supply and demand and that heart muscle. So the muscle is crying out for more oxygen, but it doesn't get it. The EKG does not show the ST elevation. It might actually show an ST segment depression or a T wave inversion or flattening. So if you ever come to a doctor to get EKG done, we can explain all these little numbers and words.
You sure better, because I certainly don't understand much of it.
So when you come in with chest pains and they see a STEMI, then that's easy. They do the cardiac enzymes, the heart enzymes, the biomarkers to see if there is injury to the heart. For example, troponin is one of those proteins that get only released in masses into the bloodstream when there is a heart muscle
What did you
dying.
call that? Tripodum?
Troponin.
That's a drug.
Troponin is a protein that is only released, that is in the heart muscle, is only released into the bloodstream when there's a heart muscle dying.
Does everybody get this? Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, I think I'm starting to get my head around the corner there. I had that telekinesis joke just before. I hope this one works better. I once almost had a psychic girlfriend, but she left me before we ever met. Oh, man,
I wanted to do that.
That's about, you got to hold it up to that. Okay.
Okay,
what do we
so
got?
a non-STEMI or a STEM. A non-STEMI is not quite as super bad as a STEMI, but a non-STEMI very easily can become a STEMI. So if you have a non-STEMI, you still need to get on the same treatment. So that means you need to get an antiplatelet, so that the platelets cannot get together to make a blood clot. Anticoagulation, you need the platelets and coagulation factor to actually make a blood clot, so you get both of them. You be put right on statins, which is a cholesterol-lowering medication.
That's an immediate thing. They put you on
right
the drip,
away.
right in your intravenous.
Yep. Those are knee-jerk. If you have that, bam, you're on
Okay,
those.
I want to bring up something off the cuff here, and that is we've had several friends recently who came to us and talked to a doctor and said, I feel like there's an elephant sitting on my chest. And that's a real concern, right? When you feel like an elephant sitting
that's
on your chest.
textbook for
That's
heart damage.
textbook
Yeah, heart muscle something.
issues.
Failure, yeah.
And they always, both friends kind of said, we'll just sleep it off. And we think it's just maybe I was straining myself with a muscle in my chest. That's a no-no. Do not do that, right? Okay.
Yes, don't
finish
do
this.
that. So
All right.
both conditions often arise from the atherosclerosis,
Which
is the hardening of the arteries in the heart, and especially bad when you have cholesterol, high low density lipoprotein, which is the bad cholesterol. So the LDL, also called the bad cholesterol, builds up the wall thickening over time and narrows the inside of the hollow, where the blood goes through the artery.
If you just change your diet directly to all vegetables, does a lot of this stuff kind of clear up?
Yes, a lot of the stuff can clear up. We're hoping that this can clear up because you don't have more LDL. However, We are making our own cholesterol. We are making this. So actually, the stuff that we eat is not so much the bad stuff.
Well,
we're making it.
I know. And what those vegetables have to be good. They can't be fried. They shouldn't be fried and all that stuff. And, I'm a real believer in the genetically modified foods.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because last night I had an incredible leg of lamb. Leg of salmon. Oh my God. I blew it. How could I blow it so bad? Last night I had a fantastic leg of salmon. Oh God, help me. I promise no jokes from me except one more. Our guest is kind of doubled over here. You're not having that STEMI argue there. There's no STEMI going on over there, right? Hey, by the way, the worst time to have a heart attack, doctor, is while you're playing charades. You don't want that to happen then.
That one is good.
Okay. What else you got?
Okay, and STEMIs are now more common in many populations than the STEMIs.
Okay.
Which is maybe we're just better in realizing if somebody has a non-STEMI. So it's the leading cause for death and disability.
Yeah, boy.
So listen up. Symptoms such as chest pressure.
There's the elephant.
You just said. Shortness of breath, sweating, nausea, or radiating pain should never be ignored.
Never, never, never.
Early recognition and rapid treatment are essential in either case. However, not every time your left arm hurts, it's going to be a heart attack. There are many, 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 many other reasons why that can happen.
If it's something unusual and it feels like it's real different and hurts a little bit, there's no, just go in and just talk to 911 and tell them, say, you guys make the decision. And they will send.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
I did tell a few other of those telekinesis jokes, but I told my psychiatrist folks that I've been hearing voices. My psychiatrist told me that I don't have a psychiatrist. Finally. Yay! Tony, we could hear Tony. He's cheering us on. All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Gigi. Now we know more about STEMI and non-STEMI.
Your and STEMI, yeah.
All right. I got a prologue because we have really two good friends in the studio with us here today, and we can't wait to get to them. No more bad jokes. And we will...
No good jokes.
Right. It's something that's important to listen to, and I can't wait. On the western edge of our continent, where the land meets the restless Pacific, there lies a quiet tension beneath our feet, an ancient fault line that is capable of reshaping everything that we know in a matter of moments. This is a reality that often goes unspoken, yet it is always present like a ticking clock. And once that is wound, a unique radio show was born and envisioned by two men who sit with us in the studio today to talk about this program known as Cascadia Strong Radio. There we go. For nearly a year now, Cascadia Strong Radio, which I will simply call CSR, has been a steady, thoughtful voice in the conversation around one of the most significant natural threats facing our West Coast, one that stretches from northern coastal California to the shores of Canada.
CSR has explored the science, the risks, and, most importantly, the human response to the inevitable earthquakes and tsunamis of the Cascadia Subduction Zone.
Oh, that's CSZ. Yeah, okay.
That sleeps like a dragon beneath our feet.
Ooh, nice words.
Let me be clear here. CSR is not about fear. It is about readiness. It is about preparedness. It is about vigilance, consciousness, and education.
Wow, well said.
It is about understanding what we can do before disaster strikes, how we can endure direct impact, and how we repair and rebuild in the days and weeks and even years that follow.
Mm-hmm.
Through insightful interviews with experts, emergency planners, and those on the front lines of preparedness, CSR has become more than a program. It has become a guide to awareness itself.
That's right. And you have been on that program talking about...
Including my show.
Yeah, medical advice of what to do and how to handle and what to pack up. So many things you discussed. Today, we welcome the voices behind this mission, Wes Bruning and Ray Simon. Together, they have shaped CSR into a platform that informs and challenges and ultimately empowers its listeners. Their work reminds us that preparedness is not a distant concern, but rather it's a very real responsibility. As with all meaningful endeavors, CSR now stands on the threshold of a new chapter. In the months ahead, Wes Bruning will be stepping into retirement and passing forward the vision and torch and stewardship of this vital program. Dr. Gigi and I are deeply honored to step into that role, joining Ray Simon in continuing the journey of Cascadia Strong Radio.
Wes and Ray, your trust and belief in us carry your mission forward to take on the mantle of Cascadia Strong Radio is something we hold with immense gratitude.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ray, we are looking forward to working with you. Together, you have built something enduring, something that matters.
Yes.
And we're committed to honoring that foundation while helping it grow. The ground beneath us may be uncertain, but the strength of a prepared community is not. And with many more conversations ahead, Cascadia Strong Radio will continue to inform, to prepare, and to stand strong.
Well said, Dr. Gigi. And without any more verbiage from us, we wish to welcome Wes Bruning and Ray Simon to the Doc and Jacques radio show. Welcome, gentlemen.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here despite the music.
The fanfare is
cringing.
Okay, so Ray, we were at Donna's surprise birthday party,
Happy
and we
birthday,
got
Donna.
these zoos there.
From who? Bruce?
From Bruce, who is
Right.
in the studio. And as a guest listening, Peanut Gallery, and we said we need to bring that to the show.
Yeah.
And so we did. We'll see how well it goes.
well. You've improved.
Getting better? All right.
All right. So these questions are for both of you. Please answer together in unison after each other, whatever you want to do. What is Cascadia Strong Radio?
Well, Cascadia Strong Radio actually is helping the citizenry here in southwest Oregon coast to prepare for difficult times. Now, you mentioned the Cascadia event, which people have been talking about. When I left Virginia when I was 19, which was not that long ago, but when I graduated from high school in 1966, I left Virginia. That's where I was raised. And my mother warned me that California was going to break off and fall into the ocean.
Yeah.
So that rumor has been around, since, what's that, 3 or 4 years ago, and for a long, long time. And we've heard about the Cascadia event as, people saying it's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's a matter of when. And that's what we've kind of been focused on. But we've also expanded it beyond the catastrophic earthquake, tsunami, and all that sort of thing. But also, you consider right now, there's a major wildfire going on northeast of Medford.
Medford
yeah.
and
now.
Canada, too.
And it's
all over the
there,
place.
and
You look at
smoky,
them,
and
there's
it's
wildfires everywhere. So how do you prepare for those? That's part of our discussion here in Cascadia Strong. So there's that. What if you lose power? Our power comes from the Columbia River, all the way down from the Portland area.
That's right.
Columbia River comes down across
into Astoria.
down the coast. That's right. And what if we lose power? Are you prepared for that? How do you prepare for that?
Yeah.
We talk about things about batteries and what kind of batteries you get and what kind of solar power you might get to help out get you through that difficulty. So it's more than just preparing for the big one.
Right.
It's more of living in the southwest coast of Oregon, because we are subject to all those things.
Right, we are. Now, why did you think a radio show would, or both of you, why would you think a radio show would reach most people?
Well,
Right.
okay, so Wes is my neighbor.
Yeah.
I've been doing some work at the radio show, right? And we
Valuable
get
work.
into these conversations. And I come from the Midwest, and I remember looking for a home for 3 years, and I eventually bought a home.
Out here.
Out here.
Oh, okay.
And there'd be signs on tsunami warnings.
Right.
And I start researching this and investigating and learning, and I learned that there was a lot of threat if this ever occurs. So I'm thinking, I don't really know what a tsunami is. But I start learning, and then I find out it could be an earthquake. I'm like, those are two separate things. Well, they kind of are, but they can be connected. One can cause the other.
Right.
So anyhow, over time, I was here in 2017 looking for a house, and they had the Chetco bar fire. this town almost evacuated.
That's right. People don't realize how
it was serious.
dangerously-
I don't know, over 100,000 acres of coverage from a small fire to a large fire. And I started to realize that I don't really know a lot. And so now Wes and I, we go to a meeting that was here, a new government official or whatever that has a job related to this. And the meeting ended, and I know Wes because he lives next door, but I didn't know him that well. And we just kind of looked at each other and we just said, oh my God, we're in trouble if anything happens.
Might I add that both of you live on the cliff, overlooking the ocean, but a high cliff, but nevertheless on the cliff.
So then I learned that Wes actually had a whole lot of, you've invested a lot of thinking about this, and you've lived in Oregon, right? So this is all new to me now at this point, like 2 or 3 years ago. And I started to have conversations with Wes over the fence about this.
Literally, you're right together
right.
on that cliff. And how far are you actually, Ray? Your house is, what, 25 feet from the edge of the cliff, straight down?
Right on the continental edge.
And it's like 20, 25, maybe not even.
It's about 90 feet high.
Yeah, the cliff is, but
The cliff,
you're on the edge.
Right on the edge.
25
feet from there.
And Wes, you are set back at least 25, 27 feet.
Right.
No,
I
you're back
tell
much
people
farther.
that I live 30 feet one step and 100 feet from the ocean. You walk out the back door 30 feet, you take one step, it's 100 feet straight down.
And it's straight down.
That's right.
Oh, my
but when I moved here to Oregon in 1977, I came up from down south, and we were here for the big fires. I guess what was it, about 2018, 19, something like that, where they had huge fires up in the Columbia Gorge, where the fire actually jumped the Columbia River, which they never expected. But we were evacuated from my home, and that was just an interesting thing. I mean, we were not prepared for that whatsoever. We were told, get out of your home. That the fire is coming, and it was horrible. And so we evacuated. It was really not a very pleasant experience whatsoever. We were totally unprepared for it, totally unprepared. And the interesting thing is that I was talking with the fire marshal a couple of months after the event when we moved back in. everything had calmed down and there was no more fire threat. And he told me, well, the fire was 22 miles away.
Oh, wow.
I go, oh, that's pretty good. 22 miles, that's really out there. He said, yeah, but it was moving at 22 miles an hour.
Oh, my gosh.
So, the threat comes fast, rapid. And if you haven't prepared, you don't have time to prepare.
Right.
You just grab and go is what you do. And that's what people are doing over in Medford right now, north of Medford. They're getting level 3 evacuation orders, pack and go. We've interviewed people here on Cascadia Radio, Strong Radio, for instance, the Powells. Mm-hmm. They had 15 minutes notice to evacuate out of their place in Reading and their house burned to the ground.
Mike and Teresa Powell. They've been on the show.
Exactly.
Great people.
So you have to think about these things. Now, we live in a gorgeous place in Oregon here, absolutely stunning, and the environment we live in. And we all like to think that, hey, we're good for life, we're going to be here forever and everything's cool and we don't have to worry about anything. But really, you do, unfortunately. And it's just a matter of living here on not only the Oregon coast, but in Oregon in general, in the Northwest.
Right.
Northwest is susceptible.
Definitely Northern California, Crescent City and farther down.
So Wes has a wealth of knowledge I'm learning from talking over the fence. And he, I'm sitting there going, well, how would I deal with this? How do I prepare? And at one point we're talking, and I tell him about this radio, different conversation, but at KCIW. And he's like, well, what do you think about a radio program? And I said, yeah, it sounds pretty good. And then Wes, and the way he operates, I've been learning, goes and invests some energy and comes out with a binder like, I don't know, a month later.
An impressive
and it's
binder
an organized
full of
view of here's how this radio program could work. And I was pretty impressed by that and still am. And and like I was learning, I didn't even, Ray, you should have a go bag. And I was like, to go where? Obviously I'm the innocent here, and he's the guy with the wealth of knowledge.
Well, so radio, we know people listen to the radio. The good thing also is this show, your radio show, ours as well, is going to be a podcast as well. Mm-hmm. So people can always listen to it. What semi-shocks me is that we didn't know about it till by chance we talked to you, Ray, right? And you told us about it. And it's so how can we get people involved? I mean, we got involved by chance. How can you force it for people to get more? The radio is one thing, podcast is another thing. I mean, it's the more people are informed, the more people will be informed and do the right thing or be prepared, mostly, right?
That is pretty interesting. So one of the things I've noticed is in our few programs that have aired, we've interviewed some people. And in those conversations, they're trying to get to know and connect to other people as well. And so in some regard, the radio program, just someone being on the show, and then we have a little discussion afterwards. Wes says, hey, do you know this person or you know this person?
Yeah.
Connecting all of these experts, and they all are heads down on their little corner of the world, right? But connecting them is pretty good. So you'd have to talk about some of the vision that you've had, Wes, for this.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, interestingly enough, that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
And that was one of the purposes of Cascadia Strong Radio,
Right.
just to give visibility to all the organizations and all the people that actually are focused on this problem. And it's surprising how many there are. There's actually a branch of the Oregon State Government, Emergency Management, that is very active and doing quite a bit of stuff. They've got a thing called Be 2 Weeks Ready.
Be 2 weeks ready.
Be 2 weeks ready, number 2, Be 2 Weeks Ready. And what that is, it's a booklet that's available for free, and we have them to hand out. And the plan was to go to maybe some of these events that happen down here in the harbor area.
Festivals
Festivals
along
and
the
the
coast.
like, and have those available for people to raise the visibility. But the idea is to get people, again, as you said, Gigi, not scared, but just say aware, and what do I do? That kind of thing. Well, here's what you do. Be 2 weeks ready. Put out by the state of Oregon. But there's other organizations as well. For instance, there's the ham radio operators. They talk to each other on ham radios. And there's an effort to draw those into emergency communications. There's an organization called the Curry County Community Organization Active in Disaster.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a mouthful. But it's the CC COAD.
Okay.
And there's a woman here in the area named Ruth Dixon. And we will have her on the show coming up very soon and talking about what CC COAD does in coordinating all these things. Coordinate the Red Cross, or coordinate with the state of Oregon, coordinate with all these organizations, and pulling together resources that if something disastrous were to happen, there's groups that are prepared, but we as a normal population don't know about it.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things, raise visibility as to what those folks are doing.
Right. So what is the structure of the show? I mean, you are interviewing these specialists, and Dr. Gigi has been one. Are they coming on? Some people are just talking about before an event, be prepared, then what to do during the event, and maybe somebody else will talk about what are you going to be doing after the event, or do you kind of combine them all into a slurry and then?
Well, it depends on who we talk to as to, what the scope is. But yeah, we go where the conversation goes because all those things are key. How can you prepare beforehand? Right. What do you do during, in an earthquake? What do you drop, hold on, roll, whatever it is? And, other events, you do other things. But then afterwards, how can you recover? How do you find people? If you're at work and, maybe your spouse is at work and your kids are in school, how then do you get together?
Yeah.
At the end of that,
right.
How do you do that? And as Dr. Helen Miller pointed out in our interview with her, she said maybe it's just as well to leave your kids at school because they're prepared, they have resources, and they're trained to take care of the children and keep them safe. Maybe going and getting them is not the right thing to do immediately.
Yeah.
But leave them there and then catch up with them later, that kind of idea. So there's things that you think about. He says, I hadn't thought about that. And Dr. Gigi, so we talk about, we just go where the conversation goes. And for instance, Helen Miller, which she aired just yesterday, actually, Tuesday, we had her on. But she talks about how to plan for your family, how to put together a plan. Something happens. How do you get the kids? When do you get the kids? Where can you meet? If you and your wife are separated or you and your husband are separated, have a place to meet rather than perhaps going home is not a good idea to do that. The other thing is organizing neighborhoods. And I really believe that organizing neighborhoods is a key part of this whole thing, taking care of each other at the local level.
Wow.
So it's interesting when you asked that question, Jacques, and you kind of said we let the conversation kind of go. This is a topic that a radio program can provide information in the sprawling topic that has all these facets week after week. Because like if we were gonna meet, let's say we were at Checo Brewery or something, and someone says, hey, let's talk about emergency preparedness. Guess what? That doesn't happen.
The face clears out.
Even if it was, all you could do is enter this conversation sideways somewhere.
Yeah.
How do you get through all of it? The library of these programs will hit all of these.
Let's take a quick break because time flies when we're having fun. It's already that mid-break time here on the Doc and Jacques Live Radio Show, proudly broadcasting from the KCIW 100.7 FM studios in lovely coastal Brookings, Oregon, and beyond. The list of major sponsors for your community radio station are Advanced Airlines, flying. Yeah, there you go. That's right. Flying in and out of nearby Crescent City to Oakland and L.A. 7 days a week. Our neighbor down in Crescent City, Michelle Ramos, with our own, hey, Michelle, with our own local Curry County Chamber of Commerce, Nick and Lisa Rail. Yeah, Nick and Lisa Rail are big proponents of the PPA, or Partnership for the Performing Arts. And fairly new, major supporter is, I always got to get this right, Coastal Home Health and Hospice of Northern California and Southern Oregon, of which Dr. Gigi is one of the doctors. Dr. Gigi, you also support the show. Yours truly, Jacques Ebner, on behalf of KCIW, thanks to all of you. Ray, get back to what you were talking there about. Do you remember what you were talking about?
Yeah. This is a topic that can't be covered from here. We're going to start here and just go through a procession of steps to get to the end of the topic. Right? There are certain things, too, that we're surprised that come up in shows. So I think by packaging it as a radio program and having all of these episodes out there, you get pretty good coverage of this, but not in the most structured way necessarily.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right? It's like I can't teach a course on it, or Wes couldn't, and just say, hey, we're going to cover these 5 topics in this sequence.
Yeah, we have talked, Gigi and I have talked with both of you about these very, very things, and so we know we've heard it before, but so many listeners today, this will be your first exposure. With all that talk and how well we know each other, have we prepared a single thing, Gigi? Have we got...
Yeah, you wanted to build a bug-out bag up in Crescent City on the tree. He really wanted to have a little ladder going up the tree for the tsunami coming in. That was his...
I mean, because I saw on the Japanese tsunami that the people, the buildings got wiped out, but all the trees were standing, the big trees. And, we live in an area full of big trees. And I was thinking, let's have a bug-out tree that we could just climb and get out of the crush of water.
Yeah, he was serious, too.
I'm very serious. Hey, if there's anybody that builds trees, contact me, will you? And we'll have a good thing. So with that in mind, both of you, what are some of the most common basic things that we need to do with Gigi that we are going to do today? What would you tell us? We're all living in the zone. What do we absolutely need to know regarding disaster scenarios? Either one of you.
Well, I think there's two things that you do to prepare. One is you put together a plan, and Dr. Helen Miller talks about that, how to put together a plan for a family. Okay. Also, this Oregon State publication I mentioned, Be 2 Weeks Ready, is a step-by-step manual for how to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
And we can provide those free. I mean, they're free from the state. And the second thing is a go bag, as Ray alluded to a few minutes ago, is a basic bag that you put together to carry over for several days. What would I need to survive for three or 4 days outside of my home?
Right, and yeah, exactly. And our cell phones aren't going to really work, right, if the cell towers get...
No.
There is that possibility, yes.
And we're not going to have any electricity. And we had a well at our house in Crescent City. We had a well. It was... We were so happy because we would be able to get water when no one else could. But the problem was we had an electric pump that pumped it from the well to the house, and that didn't work because we had no electricity.
Had water, we didn't have
So
any.
we were without water for nearly 2 weeks a couple of years ago when the fires raged real closely. So, we did think about it. We did think about waterproof blankets or bags that are waterproof. Right.
We
What
did think
happens
about medications that to have whenever we got medications. We did say we should put a week's worth away.
Medications, right, Doc?
Yeah.
What about medications, right?
That's what it just
You
said.
need to have those things
Yeah.
for sure, and
Right.
in multiple days.
Yeah.
Okay, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I remember Wes says you need a go bag. All of a sudden, the first thing I found out is, how big of it? I mean, outdoor backpacks, or how much can you carry? How much weight? Right? So
Right.
that's kind of a consideration for everyone's different age, different level of strength. Then I'm knocking on Wes's door and just saying, okay, now what do I put in it? I went and bought two. They're neat colors. One's blue, one's red. I have them hanging up on a pegboard in the garage, and they're empty.
Oh, my.
Now you got to put things in there. So then I eventually find out about all of these things, like small sleeping bags, things that don't take up much space, et cetera, et cetera. But for example, I have battery packs. Wes knows about solar. So I bought these little cubes that you can deal with your cell phone and other electrical things, right?
Yeah,
for at
very
least
cool.
a day or two.
Right. Yeah.
Those are packed in the bag.
For a day or two, right?
Right. And we did talk about when we get separated, because we do have a bridge. So
You have multiple bridges up and down
And
the
north.
coast, right? And they could be easily split a family. If a bridge is down, guess how? Smith River in Northern California, right? How are you going to get from Crescent City to Brookings? If you're in Crescent
Right.
City at
Yeah,
the hospital,
exactly.
and I'm here, how are you going to reach me? You're not going to be able to get across that bridge. Wes, great point about leave your kids at school. They've been taught how to duck, roll, and cover. And so they're they're probably safer there. You don't have to worry about it. But is it true that do you think that in these events, when the big one comes, are we just going to be concerned with ourselves and our family? Doctor, people are going to say, I'll call the police. But guess what the police, I think, are going to be doing? They're going to be hanging out with keeping their family safe before going out.
That's right. And I believe, Dr. Gigi, you alluded to that in your experience with Katrina down in New Orleans,
yeah, Lake Charles. Yeah.
that the emergency personnel were not on the job. They were home taking care of their own
Right.
families.
And even if you would, there was no phone you can use. No phones, no gas stations work. I mean, really. So if you have to go somewhere, have some extra gas tank of some sorts on there, have a bike that doesn't need gas.
A bicycle, you're right. My electric bike, how am I going to charge it?
So, right. So,
Well, one interesting thing that Dr. Helen Miller pointed out to us was that if you do get separated and your phones are working, assume that the phones are not down, have a party someplace out a relative or something a ways off that you can all call
them.
so you can find each other.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really interesting idea. Rather than try to call each other directly, which you may or may not be able to, but contact an aunt or an uncle or somebody or a good friend, something like that, that's out of the danger zone, and at least coordinate through them to let people know where you are and what your condition is.
So that they can then turn and call. I would call.
Well, and that's like the meeting point, phone-wise, or so that you can a reference point that everybody goes to, so you can call that person and they're the
I
interviewer.
sort of get that. But
It's fascinating in some of these programs to hear these experts. The information that they're sharing with us is fascinating. There are aspects I would have never thought
Yeah.
of. Some of these are like, duh, I should have been able to get that. Other things are well coordinated, like things like, where would you all meet? And there's probably areas in town here that you should go for certain kind of disasters that would occur. Here's where you go. Here's where you don't go. You want to know that.
And so Ray was saying that you cannot just say, point A and we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because then they all branch out and you have new topics. It would be really cool to somehow get a transcript and then organize it and have it all in one in one booklet or something, because there's so much information.
Well, what we really need is a website. We need a Cascadia Strong Radio website that people can go and get the transcripts, get the replays.
Yeah.
And see, the other thing about KCIW here is you're not allowed to hype a product.
right.
The rules are you can't do that.
Right.
But there are product reviews that are probably pretty handy. Get this, don't, this we recommend, this we don't recommend, having tested it or talked to people who've used it. For instance, the story that I tell a couple of times now is that the time that I went on Amazon and bought a water purification. Water purification, a little bottle of good stuff, right? And I paid like $20 for this water purification. It's 1.7 ounces. Yeah, well, guess what?
What was it?
It was bleach. You buy it for $1.98 a gallon down at Bi-Mart, and I paid $20 for 1.7. I paid like $400 a gallon for this.
Oh,
So
my.
don't do that. So we buy them so you don't have to. Basically, is the idea. But it would be a nice place to have a website where you could have reviews of various maybe solar products. And tents and camp stoves and things like that, to help people make a decision. I'll tell you one thing that's always confused me is this emergency food stuff.
Yeah.
Costco sells it, and you see it go online. You see it. And you say, what's good and what's not good? I have no idea. You'd have to taste it. Well, one thing that Cascadia Strong Radio could do is go down to some of these fairs this summer and have samples to taste.
Right.
This versus that. Hey, that's pretty good stuff. I could live on that for 2 days without retching too badly, and perhaps go that direction as opposed to some other direction. So I think there's a tremendous amount that could be done to help the population become aware, as we've been talking about, and also gather what they need for their families in a reasonable way, and just the basics, not spend a tremendous amount of money, but for some good quality things to help you through a difficult time. Whether it be earthquake, tsunami, smoke, floods, whatever may come. So,
Or all of them.
or all of the above.
And here we're talking about this on a very beautiful day here in the northern Cal and southern Oregon area. You can't imagine how nice it is outside, and you're enjoying it. But the reality is possibly this thing could hit the middle of the night, huge Pacific pounding storm.
Storm in the Pacific?
And
Northwest Pacific.
there you go.
Well,
and middle of winter, it's cold. Man.
It could be something as simple as, and it doesn't even have to be that level of devastation. When we had the Huskanandan Creek, we had rain for days one winter, and Highway 101 was slipping into the ocean. There is no getting through
Yeah, right.
that
Cut off
area
there.
for weeks or whatever long it was. So this topic, it's kind of like life insurance probably. It's like a topic people don't want to talk about.
Right. It's almost
But if you spend a little bit of time at least understanding what to do, and it's different for everyone, like a family. I don't have children at home anymore. It's me and my wife.
Right.
There are people who have someone who's physically disabled possibly
right
at home,
Yeah,
right? There's all of these different variations of what you need to do and what you should. But even for something as much as electricity could go out, our transformer blows, we're in trouble for a while, right? So there's a lot of degree of what can cause this. But I'm pretty much convinced that out here, I've already experienced 2 or 3 things. It's going to keep coming. You're going to have these different experiences with having to deal with this.
And that's right. And no matter where you go, you've got to deal with something like this. The solution is not, well, I'll just leave town and go someplace safe. There is no place safe.
Right.
Even the Midwest, the South, the Northeast, all of them have calamities.
There are issues, yeah.
That happen that you have to prepare for. So we're not in a unique situation here.
My Missouri kinfolk always say, "You living out there in California, or you guys are going to have to. You got those earthquakes. Those are horrible things." And I look at them, I say, "Well, you guys got tornadoes that kill a lot more people than an earthquake does, at least in this."
You got your tornado sellers.
Yeah, tornado, and then the people that live on the East Coast with the hurricanes, or Texas and all the
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Yeah, they've got their big.
So a story I want to tell. Wes gives me this list of what I should have for my go bag, right? A spreadsheet and with all of these items. And it was Amazon Prime Day.
Which is still
And I
going
don't
on.
tell
by
my
the way.
wife, and I just take the list and I go, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. Every single item, if they had it on Amazon Prime, I'm like,
You're
bing,
pushing,
bing,
bing,
bing.
bing, bing.
And all of a sudden, all this stuff comes in. And I'm like, what do I do with all of this? And I go talk, I see Wes, and he's like, now you got to make sure you know how to use it or if it even works. I'm like, oh.
Wait, that wasn't the
And where to
plan.
put it? Where to put it? Because if
In the
you-
bag.
In the bag.
If your house, part of your house collapses, or you've got this thing in the garage, in the car, perhaps, but the garage comes down on top of the car, how are you going to access this stuff? We're what do you do? Bury it outside and
Well, and I'm playful with the
Doghouse.
bag in our conversation here, but obviously this topic is just very large with a lot of different parts
Right.
to it.
Yeah.
And we can, a community radio station, we could talk all day long about products, Wes. We just can't have a call to action like, come on down and buy them today, because bring your check and your pickup truck and buy all this stuff.
Well, I'm looking forward to the episode if we can get someone from the water company out. What happens when water doesn't flow?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How
Fire
fast are they
engine.
going to get it back online? What are their backup plans? Do they have spares? We live in a small town,
Right.
and I'm learning spares. We're lucky we got the primary part of equipment, right? They don't have the backup spares, maybe.
Yeah,
what
right.
spares are.
Earthquakes.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and a woman I was talking to, she said, if you're driving around our area, like for instance, you take 197 to get out to Grants Pass. She said, if you drive those roads, or even the ones up here nearby, she said, and you don't have something in your car, you have sleeping bags, you have extra water. She said, you're gambling.
Wow.
I mean, just day-to-day traveling around
Okay.
has some risk here in Oregon.
And it's not a big deal to put a blanket in there,
Not a big
right?
deal.
So
Yeah. So we learned on the one on the electric, we have a single transformer. If it goes, they got to wait for a backup transformer to come from another town
yeah.
on wheels. I don't know, but it's like a spare for a while. And then if the road isn't in
Yeah,
place,
Right.
there
How
is
do
no
they get it
backup.
in?
Right.
That's right. How do they get it
Right?
in?
So that's what I mean by, a little inventory of, hey, we got one on the shelf. We can go plug that one in. So, small towns kind of have that challenge.
Solar.
Like Cascadia Electric right now is purchasing a replacement transformer. It's going to be put in down here in Harbor. And it cost $1 million. We're getting it from Argentina
Oh, my God.
because there's no U.S. company that will produce it for us. And it takes 2 years to get it.
Wow.
So, these things they're not off the shelf, as Ray says. You just don't go grab one and stick it in. It's a big deal. So if we lose power, if something happens to that transformer in Harbor, and we're at the very end of the electrical grid right here. Our power comes from Columbia River, as I said earlier, and it comes down here. We're at the end of the line, literally. So how many things can go wrong between here and there? Well, quite a few.
Oh, never thought of
So again, what are you going to do if the power's out for, 2 weeks while they roll in the portable transformer, which we do have, but it's got to be able to get across the bridges and down the roads. But our linemen and all that are very good here at Cascadia Electric. But still, there'd be a lag of time. So how are you going to survive without electricity? What are you going to do?
Right.
Yeah.
Very real.
So, Wes and Ray, we have you today, especially today on the show for a reason, right? Because Wes, you and Ray spearheaded this program, but one of you, whose name starts with W and ends with S, is leaving. Tell us what's going to happen.
Well, we're going to do a transition to you, actually, because you've graciously stepped up and said this is an important message to get out to our population and help them prepare. And you've been highly successful with your Doc and Jacques show. This is a wonderful show that you've done for years now. And Ray and I have established the purple.
It's late, but okay.
And Ray and I have laid out a map and put some structure in place and that sort of thing. And I have to move on. I had no plans on doing that 2 months ago, but things have occurred in my life that I have to move on, and I'm not able to continue this on. So rather than have this drop, I think it's extremely important for our population and Brookings and Harbor and all the people that hear this to just be aware, as we've been talking about. So you have graciously stepped in to pick it up and carry on, in addition to the other radio shows that you have going on. You're going to shoulder this and carry on with this. So Ray's going to continue to be involved.
How many shows have you produced so far, and how can people access those shows?
We've done 11. We've done 11 pre-recorded shows. The first one, very few people heard that, and it really didn't get very good reviews.
1/2 hour, right? A half hour.
Half-hour show, yeah. Okay. And we started March of this year, and they're on the air 3 times a week.
When are you on KCIW? And then other people who just go to
KCIW, we're on Sundays at 5 p.m.
5 p.m. Sunday, okay.
Okay, Tuesdays at 9 a.m.
Is this the same show rebroadcast?
Well, no. Sundays at 5, Tuesdays at 9 a.m., and Fridays at 7. So you have 3 different time slots.
Wow, nice.
And three different days. But then what the way we set it up is that it's a different episode every day, every one of our
Every time you
broadcasts.
Okay.
Yes,
broadcast,
but we
yeah.
rotate through them. It's a sequence. We rotate through them.
Oh, good.
So as an example, if you missed the one on electrical grid reliability with Brent Bershoff, the general manager of Coos Curry Electric, you can hear that multiple times. For instance, his is on this Friday at 7 p.m. We're going to an interview with Brent. So this episode, Dr. Gigi, your episode is on Sunday at 5 p.m., this coming Sunday at 5 p.m.
Right.
And then again at Tuesday at 9 a.m. Mm-hmm. So if you miss one, they come around again. Now, there's a couple of reasons for that. One is just because you heard it once doesn't mean it sticks.
Right.
And I taught college for a number of years, and what I learned, one of the main things I learned in teaching was people have to hear the same thing over and over again. At least I do, and I think I'm pretty normal, before it sticks and you start paying attention. So we broadcast them multiple times. And then again, you can go on to KCIW website and get
KCIW.org.
KCIW.org.
Just type in past shows. Cascadia Strong Radio, and it pops, and you could just scroll down and pick any show you've seen. And it's 3 days a week. I'm jealous. We only get
in every episode.
play.
It doesn't. You don't need to listen to them in the order that we recorded them or we first put them out.
Right.
Right. They're not
close
sequenced
entities.
in a way that you have to listen to 1 and then 2 and 3.
They're standalone.
It's not in order.
And don't feel bad about your first show. You felt we say the same things. I tell people you don't even listen to the first 20 shows that we did, but you finally figure it out.
My family disowned me. I don't know about you. But
One of our listeners said, "Golly, it sounds like you read a script." Well, guess what?
we read it.
We did. We read a script.
You got to be able to hide it and pretend like you're talking, right? Where do you see Cascadia Strong Radio in 5 years?
Well, there's enough topics to consume that
Right.
time duration
I know.
as we explore various things, and of course rerunning old ones, the oldies, so to speak, because you new people moving in the area and need this information, need the awareness. But what I'd also like to see, as I say, a website earlier on, just kind of expands on each one of these topics. But I'd also like to see an involvement more in the community, having to do with the festivals during the summer, having a booth to hand out materials and maybe even raffle off go bags, that sort of thing, to get awareness and help people get organized. One of the things that we pointed out in the episode 1 there, where we read the script, was that it doesn't have to be a huge investment, and it doesn't have to be all at once to start. You can start with small things. Get some water in the house, for a gallon a day per person, that kind of thing for a week, that sort of thing.
Wow.
Pack away some spare batteries.
Sure.
Think about some solar charger for your cell phone. Small things like that. Just accumulate them during Amazon Prime days. Perhaps get them on sale, but start accumulating things, and over time, you put together a set of resources for you in difficult times.
Medicines, and then I just thought of something else.
Sounds
What about pets? People are so in this area where there's a lot of older folks. Their pets are everything to them.
Yeah.
What are you going to do, and how are you going to take Fido or Sumatra the cat with you? And these are real. People are going to be concerned about it.
Absolutely.
Dr. Gigi works exactly 3 miles from the home, but she's on the other side of the Chetco River Bridge. So if we're going to be that close, but so far away if that bridge goes down.
No.
And what do you do? Do I drive down and try to cross the river myself? It'll be congested. The people will be, who knows where they'll be going. And between Brookings and Gold Beach, there's more bridges. And so a lot of things to think about. And you guys I commend both of you for doing this, because you're bringing attention to a real scenario. And again, tell me how you feel about putting the fear into these things, Wes.
No, not fear. No. Awareness and education.
Right.
You're preparing. And when you feel prepared and you're aware of what's going on and you know how you're going to behave and what the results are going to be, there is no fear.
Right.
But now, if all you do is stick your head in the ground like an ostrich and something happens, and then you panic. And that's what we don't want. You want to go about it in a logical, rational way, which you've thought about.
And it's been, 300 years since the big one?
1700, so...
Was it 1700?
Yeah, 1700, I think. It's 400.
Oh, that we're thinking of the New Madrid.
Oh, that one, the New Madrid
Yeah,
fault,
that rang them in Missouri. That rang the bells in Boston. That's right.
made the Mississippi River run upstream.
That's right.
It burst the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But our thing is subduction zone. I mean, we got the big off the coast of Oregon. We have that big caldera, the big volcano, underwater volcano,
Which is erupting right now.
which is erupting right now. You heard a lot. And the earthquakes that we know frequent our area, but they're all small ones. But when is the big one going to just snap? We don't know. Hopefully, we will be able to find out more from
And
scientists.
there are other things that do happen. Fires every year, everywhere. Hurricanes,
Right.
hurricanes.
Strong winds. We get 70-mile-an-hour winds regularly.
Yeah.
And I think you'd agree. The hope is if we can get these people on shows, right, and our interviews with them, that makes other people want to come on.
Yeah.
Right? We've gotten some positive reviews from they're glad that we were giving them a platform
Yeah.
to be part of, and the sum total of all of that is at least good information
Right.
for people out there.
This show can be syndicated. I'm telling you, for everybody that is up and down the coast, we'll be knocking on your door to say, why don't you carry this very important, vital program? Half hour keeps everybody's attention and is informative and educational.
You have call-in, so you can get everybody on the show. Because you have. Don't
Oh,
you
you've had call-outs to guests,
call
right?
out.
You have called out?
Yes, we have.
Telephone
interviews, yes.
Yeah. So you really can get anybody
Yes.
who would be important on the show to get on him. That's really cool. They don't.
And people will be attracted in the future because he tells good jokes.
Yeah.
Well, there is that.
Well,
There is
hold on.
that, yes.
Yeah.
Are you guys making fun of my jokes?
No, would
No,
Ray-
no,
Ray-
the contrary.
Ray,
You're just jealous because the voices talk to me.
oh goodness, Ray, we're really looking forward with you. You're not leaving right away, Wes. You've still got a couple months and
Yes,
a bunch
I'll
of
be participating.
episodes to do.
Yes.
And then Ray, you're our friend and good friend, you and Donna. And so we look forward to working with you on the show. Really,
Yeah, I think it's going to be great.
and having fun and recording these.
Thanks
Needs
for
to be
giving us the
censored-
option to keep
censored.
going.
Yeah,
The
thank
way-
you
the
for the
jokes.
offer.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you so much.
Okay.
Censoring jokes.
Are we
censoring-
okay?
No,
Is
I'm
that-
censoring during the show. You
Okay.
need to censor
Wait,
it.
one other thing. Is there any? You say there is no website yet.
Not yet.
Okay,
no.
you're on Facebook yet? Social
Nothing.
media? Okay,
Nothing.
so those
How do
can
we
be
get a hold
developed.
of you?
Through the KCIW.
Okay.
KCIW.org
Yeah.
is your
.org.
best route. And everybody, we are coming your way. All right, Doctor, what do we got? We have 1 minute left.
We
have anything to, do you have any jokes, quotes?
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me get my action
Fun time
together.
corner. All right.
Fun time corner.
I have some quotes.
Okay, give us some.
The sea, once it casts its spell, holds one in its net for wonder. Off one. Okay, I'll try over.
Yeah.
The sea, once it casts its spell, holds one in its net of wonder forever. That's your namesake, Jacques Cousteau.
Oh, Jacques Cousteau said that?
Mm-hmm.
My mechanic told me I can't repair your brakes, but I made your horn louder. I was wondering, why do psychics have to ask for your name? Do you know? Yeah. Okay.
Live in the sunshine, swim the sea, drink the wild air. Guess who said that?
Jacques Cousteau.
Ralph Waldo Emerson.
It's close.
Wow. Okay. The sooner you fall behind, the more time you'll have to catch up. If at first you do not succeed, folks, skydiving is not for you.
That is awful. Every time I slip into the ocean, it's like going home.
Oh,
I
really?
should have gone down with a voice.
Okay.
I'm going home, but
All
it's
right.
by an ocean. No, but we're living by the ocean here.
Yeah,
right?
we live
So
by
those
the
are
ocean.
Pretty cool.
Everyone has a photographic memory. It's just that some folks don't have the film. Hey, she's laughing. What do you?
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
Hey, speaking of Amazon, what do you call two monkeys that share an Amazon account, Wes?
I don't know.
Primates. There we go. All right.
Wes Bruning and Ray Simon, thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining us.
Thank you so
It
much.
Thank you for
is
having us.
time to leave. You have
future's
been
exciting.
listening to the Doc and Jacques show on KCIW 100.7 FM in Brookings, Oregon. We hope you enjoyed our show as much as we have learning about Cascadia Strong Radio.
Indeed. Peace and prosperity to everyone out there. Thanks again to Tom Bozak and Tony Stoddard and Linda Bozak and, well, everybody here in KCIW. What do we have next?
Much.
Tony Durso's coming up next, right?
No, yeah, Tony Dorso. And next week it's going to be my sister.
Oh, yes. Tune in next week to the Doc and Jacques Show because her twin sister and her older sister are visiting from Germany.